3 stories that were the most embarrassing moments. Most embarrassing moments of when I was young, and I will never forget these things. So how old are you when you're about 4th grade? I remember I was 4th grade. 10? 9 or 10? Guys, so I'm 9 or 10. And I thought I was a fast runner on the playground, so I joined this track meet. And I went out, and the race was one time around the track. That's a 400 meter. They used to call it 440 yards back when I was 9 or 10. So there were about 20 guys my age, Matthew, 20 guys my age. Guys, I got to stop every time I lose your eyes. 20 guys my age, 9 or 10, and we line up to run. The guy said, ready, go. We took off, we ran around the first turn, we came around the second turn, and there was a football stadium there, so we were behind the football stadium, and I was in last place going around the second turn, and I got embarrassed, and you know what I did? I stopped, and I went over and I hid by the restroom behind the stadium. So the coach is over there with the stopwatch, and they're, where's Chuck at? Where's Chuck at? And I thought I was being clever. I hid behind a bush, and I ran back over behind to the starting line, and I thought I was going to be able to go meet my parents and leave. And the coach says, come here, come here. And he was really mad, and he goes, son, don't ever quit. And he was right up this close in my face. And then he was just looking. I could still remember his big eyes, like it was Mr. Wilder. And I remember, excuse me, Graham, just a second. And I remember so much him saying, son, don't ever quit, don't ever quit. And then I remember I had this feeling of shame come over me, like, why did I quit? I'm a pretty fast runner. And I realized I just got scared. And I remembered that always, and I remember how he was sort of embarrassed, and I was sort of embarrassed, and I never ever wanted to quit again. And so I said I vowed I would never quit. So the next year I went out for 5th grade basketball. Now I grew up in Indiana, guys, and basketball was a big deal. So I went out for 5th grade basketball, and I tried my very, very hardest. I tried so hard, but then at the end of the tryouts, the coach lined us all up together, and he said, Kriese, Groves, Wilson, Baker, I still remember, you guys are cut. Try out again next year. Everybody else, you're on the team. And he did that right in front of everybody, and that's the way he did it. You just got cut. Everybody didn't get to play. If you weren't good enough, you got cut in the 5th grade. And I remember walking back through the park so well with Paul Groves, Kenny Wilson, Jim Baker, and myself, and I still remember those guys. And they were sort of laughing like it didn't matter. But I had practiced really hard because I remember the last year that I didn't like it when I quit. I wasn't going to quit, but I got cut. And I didn't make the team. And I remember I was crying as a 5th grader, and I know maybe you're not supposed to cry, but I was. And I was crying as walking through the park, and I remember Kenny was laughing at me, oh, Kriese. He used to call me Kriese. Kriese, man, don't let it bother you, man. It's just a basketball team. And I remember that I decided that I never, ever, I didn't want to quit ever again. And I said I never wanted to get cut again. So I really practiced hard that whole next year so I could make the team. And I never got cut in basketball again. But I'll tell you another story. When I was playing basketball, one time, you want to be brave when there's pressure on. But I can remember that we were playing a rival high school, and there was 1 second to go, and the other team was ahead by 1 point. The coach called time. No, there was 7 seconds to go, and the coach called timeout, and we were down 1 point, and he said, "Okay, Chuck, you throw the ball into Barry Hunter." I still remember his name. You sprint down the court and get a pick set at the 10-second line. He's going to throw it to you. You take a last-second shot. And so this is the moment you wait for, right? This is it. I had a chance to be a hero all these years of playing basketball. I got the ball from the referee. I threw it into the other team. They made a layup. and they won by 3. Wow.
Baseball.
All of these things, guys. And I remember thinking I never ever wanted to feel that way again and play crummy like that. But you know what? There were probably 20 more times I felt crummy on the court. 20 more times I gave my best and lost. And here's the thing, guys. Everybody is born, and everybody has to get used to getting rid of king wimp. You know, we talked about king wimp, okay? Now, you know, listen, it's fun because there's really no king wimp, but there is a king wimp, right? What's the king wimp guy? Who is that really? Who is that, Graham? Yeah, it's your negative thinking, isn't it? It's your negative what is it, Brandon? To you. It's like your bad conscience. You know how your mom and dad say you have a good angel and a bad angel, sort of? And one's your conscience, when you do the right thing, don't you feel good? And when you do the wrong thing and you get away with it, you feel bad, don't you? Don't you? And you feel better sometimes if you go tell your mom and dad after you've done something that's really bad because you don't want to carry that around. Well, it's the same thing when you train on the tennis court, guys. Guys, hang it. Okay. All right. So listen, you have to learn to deal with king wimp. And I would never, ever say, Brandon, you're a wimp kid. You're a wimp. No, Brandon, king wimp's after you. What are you going to do? Brush him off. Brandon, who do you listen to? Oh, King Strong, King Tough. You ladies, Queen Wimp or Queen. But guys, that's what you have to do. Now listen. You're going to goof up, and you're going to have that time where you quit, and you're going to feel really, really bad about it. And you know what? I want you to remember this. There's a saying: do the next right thing. Do the next right thing. Do the next right thing. Over and over. Do the next right thing. You're going to have a time where you give your best and lose. Giving your best and winning, what we call that? It's a good. What is giving your best and losing?
Good,
bad. What is it if you win and don't give your best? That's a bad good. And you know what happens if you get bad goods? Eventually you'll get the worst, which are bad bads. Okay, now I want to tell you a real quick story too. We had this guy come and give a talk to all the athletes at Clemson University, and he was a member of the track team, and he was a very, very good runner. And he got up, and guys, listen, this is a good. He gives a talk and he says, we had just run a really hard track meet Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And the coach said Sunday night, we're going to take Monday off and just do an easy workout. And we got to the track. And the coach says, I changed my mind. We have to run 16 400s today. What? 16 times around the track. And the guy said there were 4 groups of people on that team that day. There was the wimpy group, the people listen to King Wimp. And they go, Coach, remember, he said there were 4 guys that said, Coach, remember, I've got a sore shoulder. Coach, remember, I've got a sore leg. And 2 of them went to the training room, and 2 of them, they had to wear a pink shirt and sit on the bench, so they didn't get to practice. So they laid out, and they made it up that they laid out. That was the first group. Those were the ones that King Wimp really had a hold of. Then he said the second group went and ran the workouts, but the whole time they said, Coach is really mean. This coach, he's so bad. This is not fair. We were supposed to have today off. And he said they did the work, but they really didn't get a lot out of it. And this guy's name was Steve Wakefield. Steve goes, I was in the third group. I said, oh, this is hard, but let's go do the workout and get it over with. But he said then there were 4 guys, a guy named Sean Crawford, a guy named Michael Green, a guy named Tim Sutherland, and a guy named Bill Jones. Those 4 guys, Michael Green and Sean Crawford, you know what they said? This is a chance to get in better shape. Too tough for other people, what? Just right for me. Sean Crawford was a 2-time Olympic gold medalist in the 200 meter and also the relays. Michael Green also won Olympic gold medal. Now, do you think that they knew that they were going to be Olympic champions when they were freshmen or sophomores, and they took the attitude, it's a chance to get in better shape? No, they just didn't work because they wanted to do their best. They wanted to do their best. So guys, you always can be part of those 4. When your parents ask you to do something tough, or when you're asked to do something tough, or the coach asks you to do more, or you get really tired in a match, tomorrow if you're playing a match and you have a long 3-setter and you're really, really tired, you can take one of those 4 things. You can either take the one where you go, oh, I'm really tired and sore, and maybe you ought to call a medical timeout, a bath. Should you ever do that? Medical timeout, bathroom break? No, that's unfair. That's like throwing sand in the other person's face, right? Okay, it's unfair to break momentum. You have to stay on the court and fight through it. If you have an injury, though, a real bad one, that's different, isn't it? But don't ever do that. Don't ever, 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 ever do that. Yes?
Yeah, there was this girl who did that to me. It was like 106 degrees, and she did like a 5-minute bathroom break. And I was like ahead in the second set, and she won the first set, and then she had to get back in.
Yeah, and it's cheating. It's cheating, and we're trying, guys, listen, what we're trying to do with USTA, guys, we're trying to get the USTA, if she wants to take a bathroom break, she'll have to say, I'm going to give you, Meg, a 1-game courtesy for breaking momentum. That'd be fair. That'd be fair. Not a penalty, a courtesy. Yes?
They say now when it's 12, members, you can't take a bathroom break.
That's right. That's right. In your whole life, you don't have to use the bathroom when you play in tennis usually. All right. So, guys, you're always one of those 4 things. All right. Listen, one or 2 more things. Listen, guys. There are 3 things that you have to have if you want to be good. It's, listen, ability, opportunity, desire. Ability, desire, opportunity. These 3 things you need to have. Now, your ability, you can't do anything about really what you are. There's somebody here that's the fastest runner here. And you know what? This girl might be it. I saw her doing cartwheels yesterday. And guess what? I know this girl is really, really fast. And I know that this guy is fast. But guys, whatever you have with your ability, what? Your sister did the cartwheel. I thought it was you because you're really fast too. Guys, your ability really is what you're born with, and that's sort of God's job, and it's sort of how you were made. Look, opportunities, who are the opportunities' job? It's who? Who gives you opportunities? No. No? Who? Who gives you the opportunity to come to this camp? Parents. Who else gives opportunities? Who work with you at coaches? Who work with you at camp? Coaches. Parents, coaches. Who else? Who at school gives you opportunities? Teachers. Parents, coaches, teachers. Whose job is the desire part? Is it the parents? No. Can you pay for yourself to go to camp? Maybe you can if you mow about 100 lawns. You get $2 a lawn, don't you? That's what I used to get, 50 cents a lawn. All right? But your parents give you the opportunities, so you have ability, opportunity, the desire part is your part. Now guys, listen up. I got one last story to tell you, and this is, if you understand this will help you quite a bit. Miles, I had a guy on my team that was named Greg. And the guy was a very, very good tennis player. The highest he ever was in junior tennis when I recruited him, though, he was 19 in the United States. He was the best he ever was when I recruited him. Okay, that sounds really good, and it is good. But he never, ever beaten the top players. Now, when he got to be a senior in college, he was 19 in the United States in college tennis, which is really, really good, but he couldn't beat those really top guys. So what happened was we were getting ready to go to play at the University of Miami, and they had the number 2 ranked player in the country, and he was ranked number 210 in the world, and he was a great player, and we had 4 weeks to get ready for the match, and we practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced, got everything ready, and he was ready for the big match. And it was on TV, it was on Sunshine Sports Network in down in Miami. And it was a big, big match, and he was ready to go, and I was excited, and he was excited, and this guy was a really, really, really good competitor, really good competitor. He got onto the court. The first game lasted about 10 minutes. Wars of a long do-sad, do-sad, do-sad. The second game lasted about 10 minutes. Do-sad, do-sad, do-sad. The third game came along, and you know what my player did? He started slapping balls into the fence, getting mad, throwing his racket. He started tanking. And I go, what's happening? He never's done this before. What's going on? And I shook the fence, and I said, this is not an option in our program. You never tank. No one ever quits. Okay, you know, King Wimp was back there just having a good time. I've done my job. And I couldn't figure out what happened, and I was so mad, and I told him, I said, you're not going to be on the team anymore. Turn in your uniform and see me on Monday. And he came into my office on Monday, and he said, Coach, you know I'm not a tank. I said, I know, I'm not going to kick you off, but I just need to know what happened. You practiced for 4 weeks, and you got ready for the big tournament, and then you tanked. Why would you do this? He says, I don't know. I got out there, and I froze, and I was angry, but I didn't know what to do. Then I withdrew energy, and I got scared. And my assistant coach said, it sounds to me like the legend of the Black Door. And I go, Bill, what is the legend of the Black Door? He says, we heard about the legend of the Black Door in class today. I said, what is the Black Door? He says, it's fear, but it's when somebody gets so afraid, they sort of freeze and they get afraid to go forward, they get afraid. I said, what's the Black Door? He said, okay, the professor said this. He said, the story is that a Persian general captures an enemy spy, and they put him in front of the firing squad, and they get ready to shoot the spy. They get ready to shoot him. And they said to the general said to the spy, one last chance, you can either take the firing squad or what's behind the Black Door. And the spy was thinking, okay, I don't want to get shot, but what's behind the Black Door? He said, General, what's behind the Black Door? The general says, I can't tell you. You either take the Black Door or the firing squad. So in the guy's mind, you know what he was thinking? He was thinking that this is a terrible death. He says, I'm probably going to have tigers back there and they'll rip me up and eat me. Or, if you live in the South, you'll know this one. They're going to bury me up to here and put sugar on my head and let fire ants eat my brains, which will be a terrible death, right? Would that be bad? That'd be a bad death. All right, or that it's going to be just an awful, awful, painful thing. So you know what the spy said? He said, give me the Black Door. Or excuse me, give me the firing squad. I want to get this thing over with. I don't, and in his mind he's thinking this is terrible, terrible, terrible. So he says, give me the firing squad. Yeah, get it over with. So they shoot the spy, he dies, and then they carry him away. And a young corporal walks up to the general and said, General, what's behind the Black Door? And the general says, why, it's freedom. But no one has ever chosen it, because everyone would rather take a death that they are comfortable with than to experience the unknown. My player had never been higher than, what did I tell you? 19. 19. And when you have to move up to a new group, it's very scary. Every time, it's not the tennis that's so hard. It's the fact that you have to leave all your friends and you have to go to a new group. If you're at a certain level, you've got to leave your friends, say goodbye, and go to a new group, and the new group says, we don't want you in here. You've got to earn your way. And this is the way it is in tennis. And you'll always be nervous right before you win. And you'll always be nervous before a tournament. Remember what I told you when I was running my race? I got so nervous I quit. Actually, King Wimp and all his brothers and his sisters and his mother and his father and his grandpa and his grandma and all their cousins jumped on my shoulder, didn't they? And I was like this, and I ran and I hid because I was afraid. There's other black doors, aren't there? When you get nervous about something, maybe changing a grip, you got to change to a continental grip. What do you have to do when you change to a continental grip serve if you've used it beforehand? What do you have to leave?
Comfort zone.
You have to leave your comfort zone what? Forehand grip, and you have to give it up and go to the back, the continental grip, don't you? Okay, what about if you're starting to play a big tournament? What if you play a big tournament for the first time? And you're used to playing with a certain people, and you have to leave them, and you have to go try another one? Now here's what I want you to remember. If you don't go through the black door, you will always regret it. You will be sad later if you don't get the right grips, if you don't go to the bigger tournament, if you don't take that trip that you've got to take sometime by yourself. The first time you travel on a plane to a tournament, have you done that yet, Brandon? The first time you do it, you're going to say to your dad, you're going to say, Dad, you know, I think I'll just sort of hang out here in College Park and train, okay? But Dad, I think I'm okay. Dad will say, no, Brandon, you got to get on this plane and go. You'll be okay. You go, Dad, are you sure? And he'll go, no, you're okay. And one day when you go off to college, your mom and dad will be going, bye. And you're going, I don't want to go. I want to say, I don't want to go through that black door. They'll say, but if you stay home, you have to work at the McDonald's and maybe the 7-Eleven, and that's what you have to do the rest of your life. Go to college. The next 4 years is worth your next 40 years, or stay home and be safe. And these are all black doors, and everybody has them. I have them, you have them, your mom and dad has them. Everybody has black doors. So don't ever play it safe. Be smart with what you're doing, but don't ever play it safe. Okay, guys? Now, we got to have a quick test here because we've got 1 lap per mistake that you make here. All right? All right, regular stuff. Okay, you almost didn't get that one. All right. Do my best. What? All right, good. Inch by inch.
Yard by yard, it's too darn hard.
Good, okay. Hit him sweet and move my feet. All right, that's good. All right. It's more important.
What happens in you than what happens to you.
All right, good. Gotta have one more. I'm going to ask you before you go to play tomorrow, you got to remember this. And it's what my mother told me right before I went off to college. And this is pretty deep, but it's a good one. Okay? You know what my mom said to me when I walked out the door to go to college? She said, son, remember, you have to think about this. The world promises you buckets of rhinestones. You got to figure this out. But listen. Son, the world promises you buckets of rhinestones, but God will give you a chance to make one diamond with your life. Guys, it's been fun all week. I'm going to ask you that tomorrow. Okay? Huh? I'm going to ask you tonight before I leave. Okay, come on, bring it in. Everybody, come on, let's go. Okay, let's see, we need a lucky head here somewhere. Come here, let's, here, this looks like the one. Can we use, come here, Daniel. Come here. We need a lucky head here, okay? All right, everybody, all right, everybody in there. Okay, all right, don't push. Okay, ready, on 3, do my best every day. 1, 2, 3. Do my best every day! All right, okay. Good job, Daniel, the Lion Slayer.
You guys good job. Coach Chuck
Great experience and a wonderful blessing to be here. You know, and God bless all these people that work for this. It's been fantastic.
I love Little Mo! Thank you, Babylon!